Part 2 of the review for the semester final is going to start with question 8. First thing says write a recursive rule for the bouncing ball. So the first thing you want to do is determine if there's a common difference or common ratio. So when you look from here to here, you'll notice that you have a ratio of 0.7. Here to here is 0.7, 0.7. So you have a common ratio, so this is an exponential function. So a sub 0 is equal to 250. That's the initial bounce. And then h of n is equal to a of n minus 1 times 0.7. And that is your recursive rule. For the explicit rule, the form is a sub n is equal to a sub o times r raised to the nth power. So in this case, a sub n would equal 250 times 0.7 raised to the nth power. So now the next question here is asking you how high the ball would be if you dropped it from 300 feet. So if you were to drop it from 300 feet, then a sub n would equal 300 to 0.7, and this wants to know what the height would be after the fourth bounce. So you'd raise it to the fourth power. So that is going to give you 72.03, and I believe this is all in centimeters. The last question is asking you if this ball was dropped from 175 feet, how many times would it have to bounce before the height was less than 4? So that's 4 less than, or I'm sorry, other way around. You want it to be less than, starting at 175.7 raised to the x. Well, there's a couple ways you could do this. You could just put this in your calculator and then look at the table of values to see when y is equal to something less than 4. Or you can use logs to solve this problem. Take 4 divided by 175 and you get 0.7 raised to the x power. You want it to be less than 0.0229. Then you can take the log of both sides. So then n is less than the log of 0.0229 divided by the log of 0.7. And no matter how you go about doing it, it looks like it takes about 11 bounces before it gets down to being less than that height. All right, next what we have is money to buy a computer to go to college. The computer is going to cost $1,700. In an effort to save money, her parents will pay 8% interest each month on the money she accumulates. She starts out with $500. So it wants you to write a recursive rule. Remember, recursive rule always goes in the form of a sub o and whatever the initial amount is, and then a sub n is equal to a sub n minus 1 times whatever the rate is. So in this case, a sub o is equal to 500. That's her initial amount. And then a sub n is equal to a sub n minus 1 times, and I'm sorry, this is supposed to be 1 plus r. So that would be 1 plus 0.08. To write the explicit rule, it's a sub n is equal to a sub o times r, 1 plus r raised to the nth power. That's 1 plus r. So in this case, it would be a sub n is equal to 500 times 1.08 raised to the nth power. How long would it take for her to accumulate the $1,700? You would take 1,700, set it equal to this equation. Oops, 0.08 raised to the n. Again, you could use logs or you could put this in your calculator. Either way, it would take about 16 months. Problem 15, it says that she's willing to add $50 a month into her savings account. Here's where you should use your TMV calculator. In this case, n would equal 0 because this is what you want to solve for. PV would be equal to negative 500 because that's the initial amount she's putting into the bank. She's going to make payments of $50, so that's negative 50. You want your future value to be $1,700, and your payments per year, so both these values are the same, are going to be 12. When you do that and solve for n, you get that n is equal to 9.4. So that's approximately 10 months if she puts it. So she does save it, reach her goal a little bit quicker in that case. All right, next we have the daily periodic rate. Describes the interest you pay on your credit card each day. Calculate the daily periodic rate to 5 decimal places, assuming your APR is that. To get the daily periodic rate, all you need to do is take your APR, change it to a decimal, to 0.2495, and divide it by 365. So this is going to give you 0.000686, or you can think of that as 0.606836%. Now that's your DPR, daily periodic rate. Your daily periodic rate on a credit card, they're telling you, is 0.0745. Your monthly balance on your card is $2342.19. What is the finance charges? Assuming that we are in a 30-day billing cycle, what you want to do is take your DPR times your average monthly balance and multiply it by the number of days in the cycle. So in this case, it would be 0.0007942. You've got to convert the percent to a decimal, times 2342.19 times 30 days. So your finance charges are going to be $55.81. Now, to get the minimum payment, it says what is the percentage of your minimum payment. To find the percentage, we would just take 9330 and divide it by 2590.74, which is our new balance. And that's going to give you 0.036 or 3.6% is how much that percentage is that we're paying. Now, it says examine the following credit card statement and examine or calculate your new balance, including credits, debits, and finance charges. So let's see if we can't move this down. All right, so to calculate your, and what we're trying to find here is our new balance. There are several steps involved. Step number 1 is to find what we call the average daily balance. So to find your average daily balance, you're going to have to take what your balance was for each day. So for 4 days, you had a balance of $1372.59 plus, and then etc. And I'm going to go ahead and just pause the video here and put those values in for you. Here actually is the answer to question 19, which I'll just kind of go through with you. Here's step number 1 where you're calculating your average daily balance. You have to go down here. You start off with a balance of $1372.59, and that starts off on the 19th of July. So for 4 days, your balance is the same until you buy gas. So for 4 days, it was $1375. $72.59 plus you purchased gas, which meant you added $70.61, giving your new balance as $14.43.20. It was only like that for one day because the next day that you made a payment, which meant you actually brought your balance down by your payment amount, which was $100. And so on and so forth. So eventually you have this balance of 40. So you have this total. Now you take that and divide it by 31 days, and it says down here where I get that 31 from. It's 31 days in the billing cycle. So my average daily balance is $1573.89. So then I find the second step is the DPR. Remember, we just did that. We went ahead and took our $28.99 and divided it by 365, and that's where we got our DPR rate. So to figure out the finance charges, you take your average daily balance times the 31 days in the billing cycle times your DPR, and I'm paying $38.72 in finance charges. So the third step is to calculate your new balance. So you take your previous balance, which you get from your statement, minus any credits, and that's also from your statement. I have $150.21 in credits, plus any finance charges you did. That's where the $410.89 plus your new charges is $410.89, finance charges, and that gives you your new balance. Okay, well, I think you're ready to go ahead and take the semester 2 final exam. I wish you luck, and it's been a great semester.